Hello friends, Tanya here with another video for Trinity Stamps. Today I'm going to show you how to do some of your own DIY shimmer watercolors. We're going to start out with this palette and some liquid pixie dust and some of the re-inkers from the Ink on 3 Atelier inks. I'm going to put just a drop of the liquid pixie dust in each of these 4 spots on my little palette. This is just a cheapy palette. I think I got a pack of 20 of them for like 10 bucks off of Amazon. So they're super handy and they are going to work perfect for all of these inks that we're putting in the palettes. I chose the 3 primary colors, so Marilyn red, bee sting, and peacock blue, and just for snickers and giggles I added a little bit of the goddess green. Now I'm going to take a paintbrush and add just a little bit of water to this mixture. I'm going to give it a quick stir and you can see the shimmer in the palette here. Now I'm going to pull out some watercolor paper. I have a 3 by 6 inch piece here and I'm going to wet it with my clean paintbrush, because we're going to do some wet on wet watercoloring here. I'm going to lay down some of the red and watch that wick across the water. And then I'm going to grab another paintbrush because I don't want to have to change colors constantly. And I'm going to add some of the yellow because yes, indeed, I am doing another rainbow. Thus the primary colors. I did throw in the green because sometimes it can be a little hard to get the green to play well. Sometimes it's the orange that's hard to get to play well. But in this case, the bee sting and the Marilyn red do combine beautifully to create an orange. We have this gorgeous peacock blue, and the shimmer in that is incredible. You can't really see it very well while this is wet, but when it's dry, it's amazing. I do use my heat tool to dry this thoroughly, and now you can really see the shimmer come out. Look at that. Instant shimmer watercolors. You may even have some liquid pixie dust in your stash already. And you can combine that with any of the liquid watercolors or the re-inkers you have in your stash. I love the Atelier Ink on 3 inks so much because they stay true to color. When you see the color when it's wet, that is the color it will be when it's dry. That makes it so much easier to get exactly what you're looking for. So the colors stay nice and vibrant. This next one, we're going to do a gradient of just yellow here. And there had been a little red still in my paintbrush, so I ended up creating another pot with yellow because I wanted that more pure yellow look. I didn't do the wet on wet on this time. I did add a little water at the very start of this particular panel, but then I chose to paint in the other direction. So I started wet on dry, and then I added more and drew the paint down the panel by adding more water and picking it up and letting it run down the panel. Then I turned it, and I was really enjoying the way it looked when the drips started sliding down the paper. Another nice thing about the Atelier inks is it doesn't stain the paper, so when you change directions, you don't have that color staying on the paper. As long as you have water activating it, it will still move around. The Atelier Ink on 3 re-inkers and ink pads, that ink is designed to be used as a paint or like a watercolor and as an ink on your stamps. It's a very versatile and high quality ink. There are other re-inkers that you could use again, and you could get similar results, but these are pretty darn fantastic, and Trinity Stamps carries them. This last one we're going to do wet on wet also, because we are making 3 cards today, is going to be more of a night sky look. I'm going to begin by laying down an entire panel of the Marilyn red. It's in varying degrees of intensity, and my red is, it's running out on this panel. I'm going for more of a pink, blue, purple look, and this Marilyn red does thin out nicely into a pink. Here I'm adding the Peacock blue over the top of the red, and I thought I'd get more purple this way, but that blue is so intense it overpowers things. Come back and add a little bit more of the red, and then I try mixing some blue with what's left of the red and figure out I need more of the red. I add a little more pixie dust. I'm just mixing some purple in my palette here, trying to get my ratio of blue to red the right amount. I really like this purple that came out. It's a nice plummy purple. You could play around and get several different variations of that purple. I do end up adding a little more red to the palette because I want to intensify the red at the top of this panel. And then I'm going to add a little more blue. Sorry, first I'm going to add a little more purple. Then I'm going to add a little more blue at the bottom and just kind of bring it up through the purple, blending that nicely. Here's what those 3 panels look like when they're all nice and dry. And here are 3 mini Slimline cover plate panels that I'm going to use to create something with each of these. I've got the disco ball at top. We're going to use some silver pearlized paper. Then we have the geometric cutout with some navy and the Celtic twist, and that is done with some gold. I'm just going to use some precision glue here to adhere it to each of these panels, and since these are mini Slimline cover plates, they measure 3 by 6 inches. So the 3 by 6 inch watercolor panels will work perfect behind these Slimline cover plates. Now you can use these mini Slimline cover plates over designer paper, solid paper, all kinds of different technique panels that you've done. They're really very versatile. They look great with high contrast. They look good with very simple tone on tone. And here with all of these different watercolored panels, you get to do some techniques and have something that immediately dresses them up right away and with a simple pass through your die cut machine. I'm just adding little dots of glue in various spots behind these cover plates and then adhering them right on top of these panels that are cut to the same size. I'll put them under my mini misties here so that I get a nice solid adherence with the glue over the watercolor paper, which can be a little tougher to get to adhere. However, these pearlized papers really like to adhere to things. The glue works really well. On this geometric cutouts panel, it's got little dots that work super well. Very, very convenient spots for your glue to go. Now, of course, you could add little gems and sequins and stuff on those circles on the front. Also, they would make perfect placements for those. I'm going to take some 3 1/4 by 6.5 inch card bases here to adhere them to so that we'll have a nice border around each of these main panels. I'm not adding any extra dimension behind these just because there's so much color and texture in these already. They don't need any extra height. I love how that rainbow background looks behind the disco ball panel. It's just perfect. I've seen some other rainbow panels behind this disco ball and they all look fantastic. There's so many ways to do that. This is the Celtic twist, and I did that with gold over the watercolor gradient yellow. I really like that one too. All of these turned out better than I was hoping. Next, I am going to add sentiments to all of them. Each of them is going to get a different sentiment. I used the Scripty series in the Scripty Christmas. the Scripty Holidays and this Scripty New Year. And the New Year one is new from the December release. I die cut the detail words with mirror cardstocks in 3 different colors. This one happens to be Inca Gold. I don't know if you can get it. I personally bought, I think, 3 packages of it because I love this color so much. You can use whatever specialty papers you have, and I combined that with some vellum for the shadow layer. Sometimes you can get away without using the shadow layer, but I really like the way it separates the sentiment a little bit from the background without hiding it a lot. I'm just adding my precision glue to the back of these die cut elements, and I'm going to adhere them directly to the vellum. Again, I'm not going to use any extra dimension behind these words when I do adhere them to the panels. Just quickly adding that directly to the shadow. These Scripty sentiments are very pretty and very versatile. You can use them with or without the shadow, and they look fantastic with all of your specialty papers, the mirror cards, the pearlized cardstocks. All of those specialty papers really give these word dies some extra impact. I'm going to add a little bit of glue directly behind the solid sentiment parts, and that way they won't show through the vellum. Again, the pearlized paper really likes glue, so these stick really easily. In fact, I was a little worried I wouldn't be able to get them straight after it stuck so well. With these die cover plates, you have a nice convenient way to center them also, because you just make sure that you have even amounts of the design on each side of your word when you're adhering it down. So this one, to me it looks kind of like a starry night. It has that twilight kind of appearance to the background. And this is the one I decided to do the Happy Holidays on this background. It could have been a great New Year's one also. I won't need a whole lot of New Year's cards. And rainbows just speak to me for hope and joy, and they just, it seemed far more New Year than holiday. So we're going to do Happy New Year with the disco ball, which of course, that is much more of a symbol of the new year. I have never actually watched the countdown in Times Square, but I understand that they drop a disco-like ball for the New Year's. Have any of you watched that on TV for a New Year's celebration? I have to confess, I'm usually in bed by the time the new year rings in. Do any of you enjoy doing a New Year's celebration? Maybe someday we'll be able to do those again. So we've got our Happy Holidays, we've got our Merry Christmas, and we've got our Happy New Year. These will be really fun to send through the mail. Here's another look at the projects I created today. I hope you enjoyed them. Let me know which one you like the best. I love to hear from you. There are links to all of the products that I used today in the description box below. I'd love it if you gave this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, take a moment to do that now. Until next time, bye-bye.